And the statue of Zeus was even bigger than the statue of Athena in Athens. It was made from ivory and gold, and many people came from far and wide to see the statue of Zeus. Hi guys, and welcome to a new video. I know it has been a while, but I have a cold and my voice was very bad. And beside that, I'm very busy. As you know, I don't earn money with these videos, so I'm only making them when I have time. I love doing it, so I don't mind to make them, but sometimes it just takes a little bit longer to upload a new video. And this time I'm gonna continue with my series, which is called The 7 Wonders of the Ancient World. And this time I can go back to one of my favorite countries in the world, which is Greece. And if I'm right, there are 3 of the 7 ancient world wonders in Greece. One of them was the Colossus of Rhodes. I already made a video about the Colossus of Rhodes. And this one will be about the Statue of Zeus in Olympia. I'm sure you have heard of Olympia, or maybe you know the Olympic Games, and they were set in Olympia. Back then they were from Olympia. Olympia was a very important city in the past. Olympia is still one of the most popular locations in Greece, and you can go there to see the ruins. And I want to go there as well because, as you all know, I love Greece, I love the culture, I speak a little bit Greek. I have a Greek shirt on my body right now, and I can, well, if I'm talking about Greece, I can't stop talking about it, so I'm just gonna stop right here before it goes out of hand. Olympia is located in Elis, which is a regional unit, and it was an ancient district. It was the location where the Olympic Games started, and it was a religious pan-Hellenic sanctuary of ancient Greece. That basically means that it was a very important city to show Greek pride. As you know, I hope you know, we still have the Olympic Games, although they are a little bit different than they were in the past. But the Olympic Games that we know right now are inspired by the Olympic Games that were held in Olympia. And that's also why it's named Olympic. The Olympic Games were held every 4 years throughout the classical Greek antiquity. It started in the 8th century BCE until the 4th century AD. It was originally a festival or a celebration to honor the supreme god Zeus. The Olympic Games were a series of athletic competitions among representatives of city-states within Greece. There was even a truce during the games so that athletes could travel from their cities to the games without being harmed. It became a political tool for the city-states to show off their dominance over their rivals. They also did a lot of offer sacrifices to the gods in the hope that they would win the games if they pleased the gods. The games also helped to spread the Hellenic culture throughout the Mediterranean. Only freeborn Greek men were allowed to participate, although there were victorious women chariot owners. Victors were being honored. The games were always held in Olympia, unlike now. Now the Olympic Games are moving between different locations throughout the world. So the Olympic Games became a political game instead of a celebration for the gods. Nobody really knows how the Olympic Games started, but in ancient times people believed in mythical stories, and most of the mythological stories about the Olympic Games include Zeus. So it's no wonder why the Olympic Games are in honor of Zeus. And that also explains why they built a statue of Zeus in Olympia. As always, there are a lot of different stories about Greek mythology. Everybody heard a different one, and I just gonna tell you some of them because there are too many stories. One of the earliest myths are recounted by Greek historian Pausanias. A dactyl named Heracles, so not Heracles the son of Zeus, but a mythical creature of male being, and 4 of his brothers raced at Olympia to entertain the newborn Zeus. Zeus was enjoying himself, and after the race was over, he crowned the victor with an olive tree wreath, which eventually became a peace symbol. The other Heracles is also in one of the mythological stories about the Olympic Games. They say that he organized an athletic festival to honor his father Zeus after he came back from his labors. And of course there are many other myths and legends about the Olympic Games. If you want to learn more about those stories or about other things, let me know in the comments. because otherwise this video will be about the Olympic Games instead of the statue, and that's not what I meant for this video. So if you want to learn more about the Olympic Games, let me know in the comments. So Zeus was the most important god of all the gods at Olympia. Maybe you never heard about Zeus, but if you're familiar with the Italian god, you might know him as Jupiter. They are similar, although there are different stories surrounding them. Zeus is the god of the sky and of the thunder, and he's also the king of the gods at Mount Olympus. I'm gonna try to explain a bit of his origins, but it will be difficult because Greek mythology is very complex. There are so many people in the Greek mythology. I have many books about Greek mythology and they all tell different stories. This is one of them. You can see how big it is, and this is not even everything. It's only a small part. This is the Iliad and the Odyssey. There are so many family trees and different types of creatures, and well, it's too much to talk about in one video. So maybe I'm gonna do that in another one as well, because I love Greek mythology. And if you don't understand it, it's completely normal because it's very weird. Sometimes gods are born out of a toe or out of somebody's head, or somebody is turning into a frog or whatever. So if you don't understand it, please don't feel stupid or something, because it's very difficult. I don't even understand it after reading 1,000 of stories about it. So don't feel weird or something. Zeus is the child of Cronus and Rhea, and he was actually the youngest child of them. His parents were titans who came from the first generation of divine beings. Zeus' father Kronos had overthrown his own father Uranos and heard a prophecy that one of his own children would do the same thing to him. So he decided to eat all of them after they were born. Cronus already ate a lot of his children when Rhea became pregnant again. She didn't want this child to suffer the same fate as her other children, so she came up with a plan. Rhea sought her mother Gaia, which was Mother Earth, which was also the mother of Cronus, to help her save her child. She tricked Uranos by giving him a rock wrapped in clothes, which he even swallowed without even looking at it. Eventually Zeus grew up without his father's knowledge, and as the prophecy already said, he killed his father to save his siblings. Because they were sort of reborn when Zeus freed them, he is now the oldest of the children. With his siblings he overthrew the other titans and sent them to the Tartarus, which was the dark underworld. Atlas was punished by having to carry the world on his shoulders. As a token of appreciation, the Cyclops gave Zeus his thunderbolt and also his thunder. Together with his siblings, he started to rule the world. You might know his siblings Hera, Poseidon, Hades and Demeter. He married his own sister Hera, and together they got a lot of children. But not only with her, because Zeus was a very big cheater. He had many affairs, and sometimes even with humans, because Zeus was a big fan of the humans. He always defended them. And sometimes he even came to Earth as an animal, and most of the time as an eagle, because that is his animal. He fathered many important figures like Athena, Apollo, Artemis, Hermes, Persephone, Dionysus, Perseus, Heracles, Helen of Troy, Minos and the Muses. And probably 100 of other children, because he was a very big cheater and he loved women. And I believe he also loved men. And since he loved humans so much, he was worshipped by many people on the earth. And they were also a bit afraid of his thunder. And Hera was very jealous, so many of the stories are about Hera's jealousy. And they are my favorites because it's crazy. So if you are interested, you should really look up some Greek mythology. Zeus had a lot of statues, but one of the most important ones was the one in Olympia. Maybe it was even the most important one. It was created in 430 BCE under the supervision of the master Greek sculptor Phidias. And there was also a statue of Athena in Athens, in the Parthenon. Maybe you know the Parthenon is very famous, and I don't know for sure, but I think it's one of the world wonders. And the statue of Zeus was even bigger than the statue of Athena in Athens. It was made from ivory and gold, and many people came from far and wide to see the statue of Zeus. Unfortunately, it was lost in Roman times. and that's very sad because almost everything from the list from the ancient world wonders is not here anymore or has never existed at all. Phidias already supervised the construction of the Parthenon in 474 to 432 BCE. People saw the statue of Athena and they were very impressed, so they really wanted him to make the statue of Zeus as well. Olympia needed a brand new temple to honor Zeus because the Olympic Games were in honor of him. The temple was done, but they still needed a statue of Zeus in it. The statues were more important than the temple itself. The figure was placed in the center of the temple with doors open so that the statue, or the god, could see that the people were making offerings or doing something in their honor. Most of the people thought that the gods could see through the eyes of the statue, and that's also why you can find a lot of statues from antiquity without their head, because some people were afraid of them, so they cut off their heads so that they couldn't see them anymore. But there was a bit of competition because other cities also started to do Olympic Games, such as Delphi, which was the place where you could go to the oracle to see your future. And Nemea and Isthmia also organized the games. So Olympia really needed a statue to blow everyone away, and it had to be Zeus. Zeus was the most powerful god, so surely he would help them to become the most important city for the Olympic Games. Phidias started building the statue around 435 BCE. The statue of Zeus was over 12 meters high, 40 feet, and represented Zeus sitting on a throne. It was made of chryselephantine, which is a combination of gold and ivory over a wooden core. His skin was ivory and his beard, robes and staff rendered in gold, applied in hammered sheets. They also included other materials to give the statue a bit more detail, like silver, copper, paint, glass and jewels. There are no records of how much the statue has cost, but it must have been very expensive when you see what kind of materials they used. The most complete description of the sculpture from ancient sources is to be found in the description of Greece by 2nd century CE Greek geographer Pausanias. He described that the statue was crowned with a sculpted wreath of olive sprays and wore a gilded robe made from glass and carved with animals and lilies. Zeus also held a statue of Nike in his right hand. She was the goddess of victory, and in his left hand he held a scepter inlaid with many metals, supporting an eagle, which was his symbol. There were also painted figures and wrought images on his throne. The figures were his children, family, or people from the stories he's in. The statue stood in front of a shallow pool of diluted or pure olive oil, which helped to keep the ivory from cracking. You could also see the reflection of the statue in the pool, which made it even more magical and divine. The statue was finished around 430 BCE, so it took 5 years to build it. And after the statue was finished, many people came to see it, so the plan to make Olympia important worked. Olympia became a very popular destination, and it still is a very popular destination right now, and we would have put it on our bucket list back then because it was one of the things you had to see. Unfortunately, 39 years later, the Olympic Games were banned by the Emperor Theodosius I. He didn't want them to have a city of national pride, so he also ordered to close the Temple of Zeus. So Olympia wasn't glorious anymore like it used to be. It became neglected and it didn't survive all the earthquakes and landslides and floods. And a fire eventually damaged the temple in Olympia in the 5th century CE. There are still remainings in Olympia. You can see remainings of the Olympic Stadium and of the temple. So we have evidence that the temple has been there, so the chance is very big that the statue has been there as well. Unfortunately, the statue hasn't been found. The story goes that the statue has been transported by wealthy Greeks to Constantinople years before Olympia was destroyed by the earthquakes and the fire. You think that the statue has escaped its fate in Olympia, but unfortunately it is not true. It was also destroyed by a fire later in 462 CE. So the statue of Zeus is gone as well. And it's always so sad when the conclusion is not satisfying. Until now, not one of the ancient wonders in my videos has survived it until this day. So my next video about the world wonders will be about something that is still standing and you can see it and you can visit it. And I'm sure you know which wonder of the world I'm talking about. Olympia is on my bucket list. I really want to go there. I love Greece. It's my second home and I have a lot of friends there. I love the culture. They have very nice food as well. And when I go to Greece, I always go to the islands, but now I really want to go to the mainland because I think it's really different from the islands, a different vibe, and I suggest you do the same. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. If you want to see more videos, please subscribe to my channel. Give it a thumbs up because that would help me a lot, and let me know in the comments what you think of it, or if you have any ideas for a new video. I would love to hear from you guys, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.